And as we celebrate our 14th anniversary right here on ET Now, by getting you the top voices, big stories, also look at which have been the biggest multi-baggers over the last 14 years of serving you. My colleague Ashesha and Lisa are here with the exhaustive list.
Well, yes, so it is ET Now's 14th birthday, so we decided to cull out the biggest multi-baggers of the last 14 years and what their outlook is going forward. This has been done across indices. While Sensex has risen from that 14,500 to 62,000 mark in the last 14 years, let's cull out some of the biggest multi-baggers, and from the large cap space, first up we have Bajaj Finance on the screens. The stock has risen a whopping 454 times in the last 14 years and earnings CAGR stands at about 52%. But it's not just about the past. The future for Bajaj Finance also looks quite promising. Management has given quite a bullish outlook as far as the medium-term guidance is concerned, where they've given a target of loan growth of about 15% and return on assets of about 4 to 4.5 times. Profit growth could stand at 24% for Bajaj Finance in the medium term. Next up, let's talk about PI Industries then. 389 times. That's how much the stock has grown in the last 14 years, while the earnings CAGR stands at about 33%. Over here also, management is quite optimistic. They say that they could continue to grow at about 15 to 20% over the coming couple of years. Moving on to the next stock then on the multi-bag list, and that is Astral. Remember, this is a play on real estate, and the management commentary over here is quite optimistic. They are bullish on the demand for the next 10 years. The stock has grown as much as 382 times in the last 14 years. Moving on to the next stock then, and in the large cap space we have Eicher Motors as well. The stock has grown a whopping 118 times in the last 14 years, and over here also the management is quite optimistic. They say that they will continue to grow, work on profit growth versus the absolute amount of profitability that the company generates. Moving on to SRF then, this stock has also generated enormous wealth for investors. It has grown a little over 100 times, and over here the management commentary is a little cautious. They say that they are cautiously optimistic about the growth opportunities.
Well, let's now moving on to the mid-cap names. The mid-cap names, they have shined in trade in the last 14 years. So let's the names topping the list. We have Westlife Food, which has given astounding returns of around 678 times and a CAGR growth of 37% over this period. Even the outlook looks strong as they are they are doubling their restaurants over the in the next 2-3 years, and that will be around 600 restaurants. Now moving on to the next one, that also is in the consumer space, Relaxo Footwear, that has grown at an astounding return of around 381 times, giving a CAGR growth of 14%. Well, analyst sees that they are quite bullish on this stock as they are anticipating the growth, the revenue and the PAT growth to be around 18% and 53% respectively. Now third on the list we have JBM Auto, which is in the auto ancillary space. Now this is a good play on the EV theme, and it's riding on that theme. It's well positioned in this theme, and they say that the share of electric buses that is expected to rise by 5 times by 2030. So JBM Auto grown around 253 times during this period. And then we have Alkyl Amines also riding on the capex theme. They have grown around 206 times during this period, and they have aggressive future plans on the capex, and the incremental capex that is expected to add 15 to 20% to the top line. And lastly, we have Ajanta Pharma, the niche approvals that is providing good outlook for the company. It's strong for the company, and the company has grown. It has given astounding returns to the investors of around 185 times during this period. So those were the mid-cap name, and it looks like going forward also these names will continue in the next anniversary, also considering their strong outlook.
Well, yes, those were as far as the mid-cap multi-baggers are concerned, but we'll also talk about the top 5 small-cap multi-baggers, and Safari Industries is on the top of that list. The stock has risen a whopping 821 times in the last 14 years, and over here as well, the outlook is pretty strong. The company also says that they a foray into the premium segment is likely to intensify competition for the existing players. Let's move on then, and the next in the list is Hindustan Foods. Earnings CAGR stands at about 42 times, and the commentary over here is quite optimistic. They say that strong execution skills has helped the company grow over the last couple of years, and they have a sales target of 4,000 crores by FY25. Moving on to Caplin Point then, where the stock has risen by 457 times since 2009, and the management commentary is quite strong. They say that they will continue to grow in the same way they have in the past. Moving on to Avanti Foods then, where 55% earnings CAGR is what we have seen, and rising shrimp exports to US looks like a positive trigger for the stock from here on. And lastly, we'll also talk about Tasty Bite, where the stock has risen 288 times in the last 14 years. Earnings CAGR stands at about 20%, and here optimism is quite strong from management commentary. Food as wellness and meat alternatives could help the company grow from here on.